Please stop the trolls. Please stop the trolls. Okay, again, I'm gonna go high and away. Remember, always go high and away when you're working. Go furthest away from you. That way, as you work, you're not running into your stuff. So if I did something right in front of me and it's wet, then I have to go dive over it. I'm gonna rub into it. It's gonna, messy. So high and away, and then slowly come back to where you're closer. Hey, baby, I love you. Please stop the trolls, YouTube. I have people trolling me and then they don't even subscribe. So hit that subscribe button, everybody. God bless you. We need a rag, guys. We need a dang nabbit rag, dude. You know, and another thing that bugs me, why doesn't YouTube let you listen to music while you work? Okay, got a nice clean rag. Now, I know, but yeah, true. I should. We have good ones too. Ow. I ought to put something on my chest, hon. I ought to get my chest thing for my GoPro. Or can we figure out how to get my GoPro Bluetooth to my live? That would be cool. That way I can wear my head cam and you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. The GoPro focuses on its own. I got a Hero 12. But I need more batteries. The batteries die in like 2 hours. It's stupid. So I can only take it on hunts and striper fishing for like wet stuff. Yeah, see, I thought that Bluetooth, I thought that GoPro Hero 12 goes live. There's, when you, alright, I'm gonna set you guys up here. Okay. what is it? I guess you can connect GoPro to phone with GoPro app and stream live somehow from GoPro. That's what I just read. Yeah, that's so I watched a guy, and the guy was basically, he was a shill for GoPros. He was doing a GoPro ad, but he was showing me, showing that you can go live and stuff. And that's another reason why I bought it, so I could go live and wear the goddamn thing. So if you can get that GoPro turned on and figure it out, maybe we could run it to another phone. You know what I'm saying? Hook it up on another phone, and I can do this and that. Maybe this one on TikTok or something. But I'm going to drain the main thing. Yeah. Automatic tire. I just saved 2 tires. Two of them. Call me the automatic tire saver. So who do we got on here? We got 7 people watching. Anybody hit that subscribe button? I can't smoke inside anymore. I just needed a urinal break. What do you guys think of that when schools let kids pee in the same bathroom? My daughter literally had to sit on well, she didn't have to, but the girls' bathroom had pissy seats in it. And I'm like, what the hell? It's like, well, if you're gonna let the boys go in, you might as well have a janitor clean it up so that the girls don't have to sit on a pissy urinal. That's gross. All right, here we freaking go. Let's do it, guys. I'll give you a close view. I'll give you a quick close view here. So this is the stuff I'm doing. See that? See all them holes? See the gaps? We're actually gonna paint these white. Everything, just like a dental office. Every gap and crack will be filled. It's gonna look so beautiful. But this is a lot of work. Every hole, every gap, every crack. And I have 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? But the better I do this, the better, the more money it'll be worth. Right? So what I'll do, I'm doing the most, you always start with the farthest, the highest and the farthest away. Now, why do I say that? I say that because you don't want to run into whatever you just did. So I wouldn't start down here because I'm going to be, going up against it, setting my tools there. I'm going to go to somewhere that's the furthest away. And you see, I keep revolving my tip. So my tip is an angle. See how the tip is angled? See that? See how it's literally pointed? So that point right there is the back side. This is the hole. It fills and it creates pressure. And it literally scrapes the rest off. And if you do just enough, you won't even have tails. Now, of course, I'm laying it deep and thick, right? And obviously, every time I show someone something, I always screw it up. That's like Murphy's Law, you know. Here, let me teach you. And then all of a sudden, it's like I'm a first grader who's never done it before. But it's not like I purposely do that, it's just that's what happens. All right, that's the most I'm comfortable with putting out. We don't want it to dry on the wood. We're gonna get our wet rag, right? And remember, we have all these tools, which I've already done on this, but we have our hammer and our nail punch, right? Little tiny nail punch for them finish nails. We have our nail puller. You grab it and roll. See that roll right there? See, vise, I like to put either a piece of wood or something so I'm not making a dent in the trim, but I grab it and I roll and it pulls the nail. That's why your vise grips are like that. I've had this vise grip for over 12 years. Obviously you want a sponge sander. I'm gonna paint the walls. I wanna make sure there's no boogers anywhere. If I find a little indent, I'm gonna take a little bit of sealant, right? There's a little indent right there. Put the caulking there. And I'm just gonna scrape it. Now, you can't really get away with this with other stuff, but for some reason, the 5-in-1 completely scrapes all the feathered edges, and the paint won't see that big. It won't look like a pancake or a cookie on your wall. Now, if you leave the mud, you're gonna see it. But for some reason, I think it's because it's such a strong, sharp back, it's very rigid. And it really does scrape the rest off and it just fills the hole. That's the whole point. Now there's no little dent in there. Now I can just move on back to what I was doing. But I just want to show you guys, I don't come unprepared. I also always carry ox hair. This is blonde ox hair. You can get black ox hair. Black ox hair is a little bit, black ox hair is a little bit stiffer. The blonde stuff is a lot more malleable, right? It's better to grab and trim. This is a longer bristle as well. It's the 2-inch, but I cut it down, snubbed it up, and I sanded that edge, and I always keep it right there in my tool belt. So I'm gonna put this in my left side, which I'll show you right now. So my left side, I got this here, right, always. And I got my blonde on my right. Now, I could put, my sponge sander in my back pocket, all that, but I don't want that to scrape anything, and I don't want my hammer to bang against any wall. That's really why I'm not wearing my carpentry belt right now. You guys, my carpentry belt's worth over $1,000. It's all leather. It was like $475, then I did all kinds of good stuff to it. So I made it way more effective for what I do and where I need my tools. I moved some stuff around. Then I had it professionally riveted by a cobbler. So a cobbler sturdied it up for me and made it a little bit stronger. But yeah, so it's a suspender belt with pouches on the side, but I bought the same Occidental, it's called Occidental Leather. It's an American company. It's some of the best belts I've ever seen in my life. Okay, I gotta get down on this though. I don't want the caulking to dry up. I want to keep it nice and wet so that I can put it where I want it. That's what she said, right? I want to keep it nice and wet so I can put it where I want it. Now, I'm not being nasty here. I'm literally saying I need this sealant to be wet so that it doesn't dry up and create a, what would you call it? It's like I call it a tail. It kind of reminds me of like a horse's tail, but really it's just a long stiff line that shows up big time when you paint it. So you got to really clean that off. Wipe any extra sealant that's on there. All you're doing is just filling the hole and you're wiping all the extra sealant off the wood. We don't want any sealant on top of the wood. So we're literally, with a wet rag, we're literally washing it right off. You want to keep it wet. Don't let it dry up on you. I'm pushing it deep with my finger, and look how much I just pulled off. Like I said, when I show someone something, I always mess up. That's way too much sealant. I usually wouldn't even put that on there, but I was just going fast, trying to show you, you know, that you can go at somewhat of a pace. I always mess up when I show people, but that's okay. So we're gonna take this and put it where we want it. I know for a fact these butt ends on these cross members that are holding it, they're gonna soak up a lot of paint and they're gonna flash. Now that I know I'm painting, I'm gonna put sealant on these butt ends to seal off the ends of the grain of the wood. And I'm really forcing it in. I'm gonna kind of massage it into the wood, right? And then I'm just gonna wipe any excess off, okay? Now another trick that I really do like, I think it gives a lot more professional look. You take your, see, this has a point and a square. Take your wet rag, get it nice and clean, and get it so it's just one nice formal layer. And I go into these corners and it pulls out the rest, because my finger is circle, right? This is square. So it's gonna pull the rest of that caulk out of there, and it's gonna look way more professional. When you paint it, it'll literally look like the board is there instead of the caulking. Right now you can see there's sealant there. But especially when you use that square edge and peel all the rest out, you can do it without the rag. But I like the rag because it cleans it as you do it. It will literally look just like the board is touching the wall. There won't be any black gaps or cracks. Now, I'm not racist against black, I'm just saying you can see they're black and they poke out is what it is. It's gonna be all white. You don't want these big gaps and cracks in there. You wanna make it look nice. So look at all this. See all this big gaps? I don't know if you can zoom in. Can you zoom in on this, guys? There's a lot of big form, like I just laid it on there, right? So now I'm gonna take any extra sealant and go to your next move. Don't waste it on your rag. Don't wipe it into your paint clothes. Don't put it on the walls, none of that. You're gonna take any extra at all, and go right to the next nail hole or right to the next gap, and you're gonna use all that extra that you can, any extra sealant, and you're gonna put it right, if it's messy, bring it right up into a gap. Stuff it into a big crack. If you got a good hold on it and you're not gonna make a mess, go right to a little nail hole and fill that in, right? Don't go too far ahead. I'm not gonna go down here because then it'll dry up on me by the time I get there. I'm gonna go right to where I'm going next, and it's like a pre-soak. You know, I'm either gonna finish it because that's kind of why I laid so much, because I knew there was a lot of holes and I knew I was gonna have extra. And what it'll do is it guarantees a really good lay in there. You know you're filling this, you're going way too much, right? So you know you'll pull more, and you take all that extra as you do it. It's kind of like a 2-for-1 in a way, but I don't recommend to do that all the time. I recommend to just give it only what it needs and then move on, and you know, because what it'll do is it'll create a mess. Now this is so dry, I have to go get my rag wet again. What I'll do, I'll put the water bucket right up here behind, or actually underneath, just like that. Sorry. Hold on, I'll have containment here in a second. All right, there's my water bucket. There. I got another rag just in case this rag gets nasty. And then I have another tube just in case, because I know I'm running out of sealant here. So I'll lay that down. Now I got my water bucket right behind me. I'm prepared. I can stay right in this corner until this whole thing is done. And then when I'm done with that, we got much more to do, so don't go away. Oh man, my chat just cut in half. No one's talking. It feels like there's trolls just like making sure that I'm not saying something bad. It almost feels like I'm being censored because no one's talking. Hit that subscribe button, guys. Hit that subscribe button. Where are you guys from? Talk to me now. This is also, I also have my family on here too, so it's kind of it's a social chat room really. Like I'm a social dude. I'm not gonna just tell you about carpentry. There's no one here, so I'm kind of bored. And this chat actually helps me kind of get ahead, kind of, I don't know, go through my day a little easier. Seems like there's someone there to talk to, but then when you have all these people there and no one's talking, it feels like it's just a computer or something. I don't know. All right, so I gotta wipe all this really good. Wipe it all down. Okay. A little bit extra sealant. Okay. Wipe this down. Yep. Get it all cleaned up. It's hard to reach up here, but we gotta do it. Okay. Looking good. There's a little, kind of like a booger up in there. There we go. All right. I know what I gotta do. First, I gotta wipe that, whatever that was, out. There we go. Get all that out of there. All right. Can you guys see? No. So there's kind of some cracks up here. Not really, but I just know that if I seal these ends here, it'll look way better. And it'll paint better as well. It'll accept the paint way easier. It'll look better. Trust me. It gives it that nice formal finish. It's also a good way to hide tape lines. Like if you use mesh tape, seal over it, and it fills those lines for you. So I got a little bit of extra sealant. Found a nail. I got to punch that nail in. Right on that end. Soak that up real good. Okay. Before I go, just going to make sure there's no tails wherever I just put that. Now I got to wipe all this caulking down. So I'm going to force it into that corner, and I'm using my finger to make a nice finish line. So it's making that nice rounded finished edge. Man, I should have my ladder or something in here. This is the last of all the high stuff though, so not really too worried about it. Remember these ends, if you're gonna paint this white, which I'm gonna paint it white, right? You wanna fill these finished ends of the boards. because that's all just end grains. It's gonna soak the paint up and it'll look like crap. I'll still probably have to sand it down. Okay. Cool. Where did everybody go? Everybody still there? What did I get? Stealing on my face? Huh. Seems like I lost people. Okay. Make sure you guys subscribe, please. Hit that subscribe button. I'm just starting out. I was doing a good job taking off pretty good. And then I listened to radio. And that made YouTube mad. So now I'm kind of shadow banned. So I'm hoping people will give me support, subscribe to my channel, and show YouTube that I'm a good person. I'm just working really hard. And I was getting excited, so I played music. And I shouldn't have done that, and I won't do it anymore. Okay? And I'm sorry. Publicly admitting that I'm sorry for abusing your channel's policies. Please don't shadow ban me. Okay. All right. Every single gap and crack, remember that. There isn't even one gap or crack that should be left. Never. Ever. Because the one that you think you can't see, someone else has a different height. Someone else is going to, look at it in a different way because they're a different height. They're a different, they move differently. They're going to, have a stool or something. So they'll come up here and look and they'll say, man, none of that was even done. He probably thought that no one would ever see it. And then they say, well, that wasn't done right. And then next thing you know, then I'll be looked at as a fool. Everybody will think that I'm just trying to give them bad product and just trying to, get away with doing nothing for something. But I just found a little bit of sealant that I used. Okay, that clear sealant is no good to paint. You never want to paint clear. Even if it says paintable, trust me, don't paint it. So this is clear sealant, okay? Now I used it so that these boards would sit exactly where I put them. And this was the first one, and I realized it was leaking out. I thought I got it all, but over time I guess it leaked more. So anyway, this is a HVAC. Basically, it's an HVAC house, right? So, whoops. It's super dry, wicked dry. Because, you got forced hot air blowing everywhere. So, basically, the wood that I've installed is just bone dry. Did you guys see the, make sure you like and subscribe, please. Did you see that politician that trying to walk into the Senate? And the kid goes like, something like, have you done something political, whatever? And the guy goes, have you made sure that your mom will have your Game Boy turned on and your SpaghettiOs heated up when you get home? It was hilarious. That was a good one. That was a good one. All right, here we go. Little nail there. Good enough. Remember, less is more. Less is much, much, much more. So I had some clear sealant there. That was getting in the way, so I had to cut that clear sealant out of there so I can put the painter's caulking over it for it to be paintable, because clear sealant is not paintable. I don't care what they say, and I love Home Depot and all that, but Behr paint, they say it's one and done. One and done if you're okay with a crappy job, right? You always, the whole method of paint was built so that you do it more than once. It needs more than one coat. I don't care what paint it is. Now, of course, yes, you could probably get away with not painting again, but it's supposed to be painted over at least twice. Now, I like 3 coats, to be honest. So it's not just about like, oh, I can't see the paint or behind it, or, you know, it's HYD, hide. The hide is really good, so we don't need more than 1 coat. It's not about that. It's about the durability of the paint. And it just so happens that Behr paint is very, very watery. Like compared to all the other professional stuff or any other better brands, I would say, you don't want to go to Home Depot for paint. Now, I'm sure they have good paint there, but you're going to spend just as much on the good paint that you would on their paint, which is really, it's just not a good buy. You're better off, if you're ever painting, you're better off to go to your local hardware store, like Ace Hardware or Sherwin-Williams. Sherwin-Williams is really good. They have more economical paint there as well. I'm not saying that they don't. They do have cheaper paint, you know. But I can say I would much rather use Sherwin's lower, you know, more economical brand over Home Depot's, or Behr's, I should say. Easily, hands down, you're always going to get a better product with a company that solely makes paint. Matter of fact, Home Depot designed Smart Primer right here. Smart Primer. It was actually designed by scientists that worked at NASA, like molecular scientists. They created a hybrid primer that also has a satin finish, right? That also is sandable. So it's got 40% talc, T-A-L-C. That's a powder. It's like gypsum, right? Or lime. It's kind of like lime or gypsum, right? And it's just powder. But then they have something else. The binding agent in there is very good. I can put Smart Primer on any type of material, and 9 times out of 10, you won't even be able to scrape it off with a professional, sharp, purdy scraper. For some reason, whatever they have in that for a binding agent, the Smart Primer, it's a Zinsser product. Now, People use Bins. Bins is a lacquer. Kills is an oil base. You know, Bins is like a really thin lacquer. I don't really like Bins much. I have used it because clients specifically asked for it. But I gotta say, the same exact company, Zinsser, makes Smart Primer as well. Now, Smart Primer, literally in the name, it's literally the best buy. It's, like I said, it's a hybrid. It's not an oil and it's not a water base. It's an alkyd. A-L-K-Y-D, alkyd. So it's literally a hybrid paint. It acts like oil, but it cleans like water. So it's a water-based cleanup. You don't need solvents to clean it. But then it acts like an oil. And I'll tell you, it stops flashing very, very well. I mean, it's the weird thing is Zinsser, Sherwin-Williams sold the Smart Primer material to Zinsser. So really, Sherwin-Williams made Smart Primer. But Zinsser now owns the rights to it. And it really sucks. You would think that they would sell the product to Zinsser, but then be able to still use the same properties. I would have hoped to get that right, but I did a test in an old lawyer's office. We was turning it into a mortgage company, mortgage financing company, and everywhere there was like wainscot that had been lacquered for 100 years. You know, super, super old oil-based lacquer everywhere. And it had been coated over and over and over again. And I knew getting into that job that it was going to be a mess. So I went to every single store and I said, look, I'm going to need over 100 gallons because I have to paint everything, ceiling, walls, shelves, everything white. Wainscot, door trim, everywhere. There was lacquer everywhere. Wood, old wood with lacquer. And I said, give me a gallon and I'm gonna go do a Pepsi challenge with everything. I'm gonna do a swab on the different style trims and the different style sheathing. And I wanna see what product does the best. Hands down, Smart Primer, literally, I couldn't even scrape it off anywhere. I've used it over plastic, I've used it over metal flashing, I've used it over plastic gutters, shutters as well. You can't peel it off. As long as you got the product that you're painting clean and dry, like wipe it down, get the microfibers off of it, the dust, you're good. Smart Primer will paint anything. And the cool thing, I've actually painted a vintage Victorian, an old Victorian. We did a historical remodel and we painted all the shutters and the window panes, the window sashes, black, but the whole rest of the house was so old and just chipped and exposed, you know, real, but it had really nice finial, you know, A-brace trim, knees and returns, finial returns, and dental trim and beautiful molding, beautiful long overhangs, you know, gable end returns. It had this beautiful stained glass window at the top. And I'll tell you what, we painted that place 3 heavy coats of Smart Primer and it actually came out almost like a vintage white.